let's get going. So we took about, yeah, 12-minute break or so. So that's good. It's all good. We'll get through what we get through. From now on, it's really going to be just a matter of practicing our drawing skills as always. Now, I was contemplating whether I wanted to use the sketch or not, but you know what? For the sake of ease, I'm going to use the one that's the finished version because it just makes it easy on everyone. Because otherwise, for you guys to follow along with me, it's going to be really difficult to kind of try to use the sketch. So I'm going, that's of course what I used when I drew mine, but I don't think it's necessary that we go through the process. And so let's go in and we will, here, let's see if I can't, just so you guys, not that it really matters. Is it that one? Oh no, never mind. Okay, it's all good. Let's do this though. You ready? Let's do, you guys now have this, right? Oh shit. You guys now have this, right, as your template. So save this somewhere, wherever you like to save it, okay? Keep it safe, keep it near to you. And then what you can do is design with this template, okay? Cool. And bring in your sketches, right? Lock them down, make a template once they're in there, right? You can even go in, make sure that they're linked, always good. I'm not collecting this from you, so however you go about this is fine. At the end of the day, if you decide that you want to design right on here, I'd highly approve or highly would say don't. This is your submission file, not your design file. So please, right, don't, this is of course, when you're ready to go though, we will then take this amazing large monster button and we'll put it there, right? Oops, right? Oh, come on now. There we go. Large monster button. Perfect, right? And small. Okay. So that is, of course, what you'll hand in at the end. So you'll save this as a PDF, which we have there, and you'll be golden. Okay. Maybe I'll leave that open so that we'll see how far we get with our gourd. Okay. I'm going to close this down now, though. Sure, I may save it. Okay. Mine is now opening up in Acrobat one more time, which is totally fine. And I've got this monster button AI. Good. So let's do the process one more time. Okay. But in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just do Command N. It's always good practice to go in and do this. And I'm going to do this as in class Gourd. Gourd. Good. Okay. So in class Gourd 4x4. Sure. That looks good. Actually, we'll leave it at a 4x4 for now. Okay. And I'm going to say create. Okay. Now, again, this is a button, of course. And maybe I will do this, Command C, Command V, just to bring it over. Okay. And I'm just going to do it here for a file away from everything. Okay. Is why I'm doing this. Okay. So this is my working, okay, in class gourd.ai. Sure. Again, this is where you may want to take this. If you're following along with me, you may want to take this and put this into your weekly content, right? And then this, of course, would be in class Gourd, right? And then I would create a new folder, working client, For this, I'm just going to say my Gourd for now. I know you're like, dude, get organized. There we go, in class content, okay? So again, this is just practice, right? So yes, hopefully that makes sense. And everyone's like, yeah, got it. Cool. If not, no worries. Just open up any document. Let's just copy and grab one of the buttons, big or small. Probably go with the large. Now, a few things I have here, though. Do this with me. Click and drag. Oh, look at this little guy. Okay, so I've got this sad gourd. As mentioned, I worked off of this one. Make it a little easier on us. And then I got this for everyone. So I got a leaf, right? As mentioned, I just went in gourd leaf, found it, and I've got this guy. This is what we're going to try to work on today. See how far we get. Again, this isn't to be handed in, so it's totally your call. Follow along as best you can, okay? And we'll see how far we get. I'm going to show a few little maybe tips and tricks. Something like up here is fairly challenging because it's a different way to look at something, right? When we have strokes on everything, which we've worked on quite a bit, it makes it a little easier because it does separate parts, right? But not always. I mean, we're doing vector art, and vector art is done in so many different ways, but this is a type of vector art. It's not going to have a black line, right? You'll notice I did add a nice black line to the overall perimeter, right? Which is nice and kind of borders it in. And maybe we'll put an overall black line on everything once it's done. But for now, I'm going to use that and create this as my template file. Okay, everybody? So what I'd like to do is, here we go, picture. I'm holding Command right now. Just bring up my black arrow. So I've got my vector I want to work from, okay, that our client supplied to us, and it's really bad quality. And or again, remember I mentioned this multiple times, if a client comes to you and says, hey, I want you to recreate this, then you always ask why and where did you get this from and why is it nice quality but you need me to create it because you don't have the vector file. Chances are they've stiffed their designer and they're trying to get you to do it. Okay, so keep an eye on that. So let's move this here. Okay, and so what I'm going to do is let's go here and create a new layer. Okay, and let's do this. So I created in layer 1, layer 2, right? Everything currently is on layer 1, right? It's all good. What I'm going to do, just like we did before, I'm going to grab this and I'm going to move that up. Whoops, sorry, like so. Okay, and we'll just call this die. Good stuff. So that's my die line, right? Perfect. Now we have these guys, and what we're going to do is I'm going to bring this here. Pretend like this is your sketch. As mentioned, I could have used my sketch, but I figured we'll go a little bit easier, right? So this is where, when you're doing your sketches and so on, maybe I will have these little pumpkins kind of wrapping around a little bit. See that? So my pumpkins are kind of centered, but I'm kind of happy with what it looks like there. Okay, cool. And I'm just going to use this leaf for reference. So we can still make this into a template file because we're in essence going to draw from it. So we know how to do that, and let's go ahead and do it. Before we do that, let's just see that we can't embed these links for now. Good practice, just to keep them with the file. Okay. So links, let's embed leaf and embed duplicate for a class PNG. Okay. And then we can double click on layer 1. We've done this now enough. Right, template. Awesome. And then again, maybe I will go, maybe we'll go 30% of my dim. There we go. Cool, so I've made a template over here as well, you'll notice, which we'll use to complete this portion. Again, very different, but I'm just using it as general reference as mentioned, right? Just to get the basic shape of it, right? And then we're gonna add in some nice detail after the fact. Now there's a few things, again, remember whenever we're doing sketches or starting to draw vector art, we need to understand or decide how we wanna tackle this, right? Because it's always a challenge, like I love this because every time we look at something like this, it's a puzzle, right? We need to figure out how are we gonna complete the puzzle, right? What's the best way that we're gonna go about completing this? So, few parts, right? We have shadow, we have an outline around, we've got a lot of detail or little bumpy details, right? I think all of this in general terms is fairly simple aside from up here. It's kind of gonna be a challenge, right? This is a tough piece to make. And that's all good. We'll do it together and yeah, hopefully, we'll have fun. Let's begin though, create a new layer. Let's start here, and I'm just gonna call this out as, sure, let's do the shadow first, because that's the easy one, right? So I'm gonna start with my shadow, okay? Hit the L key. That'll bring up your circle, right? So what I'm gonna do is literally do that. We'll go in, right? And Command Y, there we go. Okay, and we'll go in and we'll just get some shadows put in, nice and easy. Okay, there we go. I've got another circle here to make up that. So I'm holding Command right now, everybody. I don't think you need to hold Command, it's just force of habit. You can just not hold Command, even with your circle tool on, right? And then what I'm gonna do is just go here and I'm gonna create another shadow over here, okay? So that was with your command option, or you can try option, but the only thing is it will work, but you need to be right in the center if you don't hit command. If I hit command, black arrow, then option is nice and easy, right? So keep that in mind. You can use option, but it has to be to the center of the object if you don't hit the command key. Just kind of shout out. Nice. So I got something like that, right? And I may bring this in a little bit to match. There we go. If we're matching to a client, we want to be 100% accurate, right? Because they have given us something, we need to duplicate it exactly. In this case, though, from your sketches, have fun with it. Who cares, right? Like, I'm hoping you're going to evolve and like start with a sketch that's fairly like where it is, got you to a point where you need it to be, but the vector's where you're going to shine, right? And really like, and I think I mentioned this before, if it takes you an hour to draw in pencil, I would typically say you can look to spend about 3 hours drawing it in vector, okay? I have like a 1:3 ratio I usually live by, and it's pretty accurate, I think, over the time. If it took me 20 minutes to draw this, it usually takes me about an hour and a half to draw it in vector, yeah? Makes sense? And regardless, yeah, it's, yeah, what it is typically. And you may say, nope, dude, I got this. Vector's simple and I have harder time drawing in pencil. And that's okay too, but I'm just general rule. Okay, so there's our shadow, right? Command Y, you'll notice, oopsie, but there's no shadow there. And that's because I had 0 fill, 0 stroke on those circles. So depending on what we do, what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna go into my die line layer and let's just lock it down, force lock right here in our layer, okay? So do that with me. And then we have our shadow that's here. And you'll notice it's not showing Command Y. And the reason being is because, as mentioned, it was 0 fill, 0 stroke. Let's hit the D key. So select on those 3 circles, hit the D key. That'll get us back to default, right? So I'm hoping we're slowly getting a handle on these shortcuts. Try this after you hit the D key. So select on those 3 circles with me, okay? You can do it without locking this down, of course. It just means you've got to be, use some, what's the word, finesse when selecting your objects like that, right? So you can marquee select like so. Hit the D key, good. Shift X, good. So remember, Shift X swaps fill to stroke and vice versa. Now, try this with me, ready? X key. Nice. And what that's going to do is you'll notice XX is going to just swap our fill and our stroke, just like it does in Photoshop, foreground to background. Now, stroke is forward. Hit the question mark or the bracket. X. Amazing. So all there, just what we did was we filled it to default. We flipped it so that it's black and fill, and yeah. And you guys are like, dude, why didn't you just select it and then hit black fill? You could have, but again, I'm practicing. I'm hoping we're practicing kind of doing everything quickly with. Anyway, it's all good. All right, so what do we got? In essence, we have a circle. And what we're going to do now is I'm going to create a new layer. And let's call this body. Maybe I'll call it body main, okay? So I'm going to do this body around, okay? Maybe for now, I'm going to hide my shadow. Don't need it in there, okay? I'm going to go to my circle tool, or L, right? And let's do this. You ready? Let's do a circle. Boop. Command Y. So we're going to have a look at it. And let's get it fairly close. I'm going to go here. Right? There we go. Something like that. Yeah? You guys are like, why wouldn't, what about pen tool? Don't worry about it. Let's see if we can try something new. Right? Of course, we got pen. We'll be using pen tool up here quite a bit. So let's try a different skill now, or a different tool, I guess you'd say. So I've got something like this. It's a round pumpkin, just a circle, right? Looks like that. Good. Now, first off, we know that we can change the shape of the overall circle just by hitting our P key, which is our pen, right? Sorry, did I say we're not going to use the pen? I lied. So we'll go here. What I'd like you to do is after you draw your circle, rough it in, get it close. I'm going to add a node there, about there, sounds good. And I'm going to add a node right about there, just to kind of, right, where it kind of takes shape. just so what I can do here is put a bend. So add a node, command, right? So command will bring up our white arrow, select on this point and move it up, woo, right? So there you go. Now we've got kind of an apple shape to it, right? Just by making that real simple adjustment. Yeah, sound good? In all fairness, there's not a whole lot else that I'm going to worry about because the rest of it, I guess maybe in here, you may look to adjust a little bit to maybe get this. And notice now with my white arrow, what I can do is I can just kind of manipulate to get the basic shape a little closer, maybe something like that. That looks pretty good, right? I might grab my white arrow, bringing this down a little bit to kind of squish it, right? So we're getting really close. There we go. Here's where I may go in to add a node there and add a node there. And then the purpose for that is command, hold command down, select on the node, and we can just bump that up like so, right? So we're just using the general shape, right? And I'm gonna go here, and again, just manipulating, command, white arrow, let's manipulate some points, bring that in, and we'll go there, and that looks pretty good. Maybe get it closer to get to the inside, and then we're gonna do bumps in a kind of fun, interesting way together, okay? Maybe utilize a tool we haven't used or touched on before. So I'm gonna go here, now I shifted to my option key, that was my V. So at any time, remember, if you ever need to create a straight line like so, V key or the option key, right? V, 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 V. Or of course, if I wanna hold and create a cusp, we know V, right? Or the option, I say V, option, right? So we could go in, of course, and just draw with the pen tool around the perimeter. That's one way to do it. But of course, I wanna show you some other ways that we can go about doing this stuff. So I'm gonna get that really close, as mentioned, to the inside perimeter. And then we're gonna have some fun making these bumps. Remember, fun's relative. All right, so we'll go here. And that looks pretty good, right? Just manipulate it so you got kind of the inside. See how I've kind of broken the inside perimeter? And then all the bumps are kind of like nasty. So there's a few ways we can go about creating those bumps, of course. One way would be to make circles, right? And I could go in and draw a circle there, draw a circle there, draw a circle there, and then we can unite it, right? Pathfinder, after we're all done. I don't want to do that though. I want to show you a neat tool. And the reason being is, check this out. It's kind of a weird bump. And the tool I'm going to show you now is part of the warp feature. And I want you to give it a try because in this case, it works really well. Are you ready? Let's do this together. Right here. You guys maybe remember we used the width tool quite a bit. So I'll just hold down the width tool function and you're gonna have all these, I think we may have touched on this like first week where I just went over all the tools in CAB class. And we looked at them and you can do swirl and warp and pucker and scallop and crystallize and wrinkle. The one that I wanna work on here is bloat tool. This is fun. So again, it works really well and lends itself to doing just that, adding just simple bumps, right? So go ahead and click on, as mentioned, hold and click down on you have your width tool, this is right here, above your shape builder. Click and hold down, and I want you to go into the bloat tool. I just like to say bloat tool. Cool. Now, with any of these tools, I really, oh man, I can't wait for Illustrator to get on the Photoshop bandwagon and allow us to use our brackets up and down, left and right, up by your delete key. You'll notice though, brackets left and right do nothing. Okay. So this is where, again, Illustrator, more mathematical base, it wants you to go in and put in an actual number. In order to get there, everyone, you can double click on the tool itself. And that's how you access any of the features within these tools, okay? So give that a try, turn on bloat tool. Now with that on, what I want you to do is double click on the actual bloat tool. Cool. So these are your global brush dimensions, okay, for the bloat tool. You'll notice right now what I have this set at is 1/8 of an inch and 1/8 of an inch, yeah? I have an angle of 0 and intensity at 70%. So you have full control over how much it bloats. Yeah. You guys can duplicate this for me if you'd like. Okay. I may even bring this down a little bit because when I was doing this, I was working on a thing that mine was a little larger. So I might go 0.08 maybe, tab 0.08. Now you can make your height and your width different. It just will create a semicircle, right? Instead of a circle. I'm gonna keep it as a circle though, with 70% of my intensity. You can try it on everything. If you wanna try it at 100, you can. I find the 100 is just a little bit too aggressive and that it like does it and you're kind of like, whoa, that was fast, right? I have my detail here at 2 and then my simplicity at 95, okay? So we can play around with this stuff and see what options work best for us, okay? So let's just keep it, if you wanna do this with me, do this as our default and let's see what happens, okay? I got 0.8, 0.8, or 0.08, 0.08. Don't forget the 0, because that's gonna make a huge difference, right? 0.8 is almost an inch. That's the size of the button almost, right? Yes, the angle is kind of neat that not only can we change up make it a semicircle, but we can also make it a semicircle that's on a 45. Cool, eh? So if you really want control over how it bumps things and makes things, then you can do that to bloat it, right? Anyway, long story short, there we go. This is our 0.08 circle, 70% intensity. Hey, so what I'd like you to do is try it out. So now that we have the tool, check this out. It's kind of a neat tool that we don't even need to have this selected. Notice how I don't actually have, so I just did it, Command, select on the pumpkin, right? Now it's selected. Whether I select it or I don't select it, it will still work. Isn't that neat? So just be aware, now that I have it, check this out. You can bloat from the inside and you can bloat from the outside. Notice how it's working here, and I'm not really happy with the out or how this is kind of working. I want it to be a little bit more controlled. And what I may do, again, double click on the bloat. You guys can play around with this though. I may increase my detail a little bit, okay? And I may decrease my simplify because I want it to kind of have a little bit more, right? So then we can kind of play around and get there. That's kind of better. That's a little better, right? But check it out. Now I can go in and I can start creating bumps, right? Like so. And again, that's not working for me either. So let's go in and try something a little different, right? Maybe I'll go detail a little more, okay? And try it like that. That's getting better, right? And so what I'd like you to do is you don't need to follow this exactly. I actually would rather you not, okay? And then let's try detail way down, simplify, actually do this. Let's try both, see what that looks like. Ooh, that might be where we want. Interesting, isn't it? There we go. But notice here, like I'm creating this bumpy mess, right? And exactly what I kind of want to do. And you guys can play around with it. Just be aware, like you're gonna, right? We want to kind of have something that works, right? And when we expand it, if we just shoot, right? If we choose to expand it, that it will give us what we're looking for. And I'm still not happy with this. Maybe it's my intensity. Maybe I'll try it at 100 intensity. And then again, simplify. I'm gonna try it like, we'll find it, we'll get it. Right, it's kind of neat. You can actually paint, and as you paint with it, notice how it will actually show you, right, how it's kind of looking. See that? And let go. Again, just be aware, right? It's a lot easier to work with a nice straight line than it is to try to work with a curved or like an already predefined space. Do I have snap or something on? It's doing some wacky shit, isn't it? 240. That's cranked and cranked. And now, see something like this, I might increase my bump size, right? But we'll come back to some of these, but play around with it. See if you can't kind of just create some bumps like so, right? This one is way too big to try it with this small brush. So on some of these, I may go back, right? Double click on the bloat again, okay? And then what I'm gonna do is instead of 0.8, right? I might go in and try 0.125, right? You can do it this way as well, click up and down, or you can do it this way with points, kind of interesting, right? So I'm gonna make mine now, let's try 1/4 of an inch. There we go, 1/4 of an inch, 1/4 of an inch, okay? And I still have not found the settings that I'm happy with here. And I'm gonna try 90. Oh, did I find it now? I think that's better. Awesome, I think that did it, right? You have to play around with this stuff. And again, for this, if you click, right, notice how it overrides, right? Bump, nice, okay? So have some fun with it. I kind of got this big bumpy mess now. Now, was that quicker than doing the pen tool? I don't know, probably not. I think probably the pen tool, I would have got there even quicker than doing that. But again, the whole purpose of this class is to kind of play around and see that we can't try some of these tools together, right? And it does have its benefits. The ability to kind of have it a little more random, right, is nice, especially if we're creating something. We like some random, don't we? Well, I do anyway. I think so. I think it's cool. All right, so I just hit all my tools. Come on, man. There we go, back at it, right? So I have something like that. Nice, okay. If you guys want to try it, it seemed to work best if I had the detail was cranked down and then simplicity was cranked down, right? You can even turn detail off and see what happens there. I kind of like detail turned it right off. Oh no, I don't, see that? No good. Oop. It's kind of finicky, but again, we'll give you some neat, kind of more random looks is what I was getting at, that's all. And I need a big bump up here just to kind of balance it out. Not like that. See? Oh, there we go. That'll do. Now, this is where we got to be careful with these tools, right? Notice what happened here. It kind of created this, right? And did I mention, remember I mentioned about using these warp tools are nice, but they can give you some unexpected results if you've already got kind of, right, things going on, right? Because it doesn't want to, there we go. That seemed to work okay, right? Even if you start out and go in and then try it, just try a few different ways. And there we go. I got that one bump that I wanted. Perfect. Oh yeah, he's ugly now. That's bumpy. Cool. Okay, so what are we gonna do? You guys can go if you're so inclined. I may not do this, but if you would like, you can go into your Adobe Color, right? And you can find, now let me just go into manage my account and sign in, right? You guys can go into your Adobe Color if you'd like. And I actually went in and did the Adobe Color and then actually went and I went in and created a Gourd theme. And yeah, you can go in and explore, right? Beautiful, look at the blues, right? And then look, Gourds, literally Gourds. Check it out, color themes, how awesome. So if you're ever stuck on getting color themes for your monster, of course ours is monsters. I don't know, I would be a little more specific, of course. Like, I don't know, what does a wizard have, right? Oh shit. Let's explore wizard. Neat, right? How cool. So anyway, that's there for you guys. And you guys can go and grab it if you'd like. I'm not, because I want to move on. So we've got this bumpy, bumpy, bump. Okay. So that's our body main. Okay. Let's hide that for a sec. Okay. We'll come back to the body main in a bit. I want to look now at this portion. And again, I gave you the leaves, of course, here already, but what I did was I went, and I want you to do this just to kind of practice it. I would like you to go in and see if we can't create a new layer, and we're going to call this stem and leaves. Okay. Leaves, leaves. There we go. Cool. So stem and leaves, yeah? So we're about to begin on this portion. Now, I'm pretending this is the sketch, and I'm going to work as maybe you might do something like this for maybe one of your accessories. Maybe you grab a hammer, maybe you grab an axe, right? Or maybe you grab a wrench full of blood and gore, and or not. Maybe it's just you guys got it, whatever you want to do. So I'm going to do this. You ready? Let's get a really simple leaf. Cool. So I'm going to do this, and I'm going to ignore most of the detail. It is I mean, ours is a cartoon-esque feel. So I'm going to do something like that, right? And just get kind of the shape. So we know that this, in general terms, is kind of a gourd leaf. And if you Command Y for a second, remember we did create a template layer on it, which is beautiful. And so I can just go Command Y and then just draw it freely. And something like that, right? So we now have a silhouette. Nice. That's pretty solid, right? It gives me the pumpkin-esque leaf that I'm looking for, okay? So we can, of course, go in, and if we want, we can change the color. Let's just use a green, right? Solid green, there we go, okay? Sorry, did everyone get that okay? Do you want me to slow down, take a step back? With that, it was just some really, even if you do some fairly simple straight lines, you can do that. If you want to try it this way, you can. Straight line, straight line, straight line, right? Straight line. I never draw like this, but it is an option. Straight line, straight line, straight line, right? And then with that done with the P tool on, you can hold Option down and you can do this. The reason I'm not a big fan of holding Option and doing this is you just don't have as much control over the corners, and sometimes it does some wacky stuff. But if you prefer to draw like this, that works as well. It's up to you. Everyone's got their own way. I'm showing you my way, of course. This is more, dare I say, the Corel draw. This is basically how you go about the drawing, which is nice because if you're coming from Corel Draw, you're like, oh, this is exactly how this is my baby. So however you want to go about it, okay? I'm going to go back to my green leaf. Anyway, or not. What are you doing, dude? There. Done. Okay. Awesome. So we got a leaf anyway. All right. I'm going to bring that over here. So hopefully everyone got time to just do up a quick leaf with me. And I'm going to go here. And I'm going to do a leaf. Again, I don't care too much about how this lays in. This is my creation. I can do what I want, right? So I'll go here. Now with this, I'm going to play around with some depth. It looks as though this leaf is in behind and in front. This is an optical illusion, and this is where what we're going to do today is we're going to see if we can't play around and see if we can't create the leaf, make it look like it is kind of like puffing up and into the stem. In fact, it's not. The stem is on top of everything. But what we're going to try to see if we can do is play around and see if we can't do something of that nature. You ready? So maybe what I did here, everyone, is I just got rid of this center, and I'm just going to use the real simple shape of the leaf, okay? So something like that is great, okay? You should really have that done in just a few points, okay? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to place it loosely for now, just get it in, right? If you hit the V key, that'll take you back to your black arrow. You can, of course, go in and click on the black arrow. And I'll just do something like this for now, right? We'll get it in there like so. Okay, there's a leaf. Good, nice. I'm going to duplicate it, So what I'd like you to do is Option, click and duplicate. Yeah, so I've got that. And then what we can do is right here, flip. Okay, try that again with me. I always hit my tab key, sorry, but if you want to tab to get full screen and then come back to it, you can do that. You can, of course, hit the F key to go full screen if you're finding, right? Or maybe you're watching the Discord channel at the same time, and that's okay. But just, yeah, it's all good. So we're going to go here, Option, click and drag, flip. Nice. So now what I'm going to do, this is where we can make adjustments to make these look a little bit less like a Photoshop clone stamp, duplicated the background, and it's obvious that I did that. So in order to do that, again, there's something to be said, of course, for like a symmetrical drawing, but something like this, they are leaves, they're organic. I want them to be different. I don't want them to be 100% the same. There's no leaf that's 100% the same. It's the same as a fingerprint. So you're ready? Do this with me. Hit the A key. Now hitting the A key, it just takes you to the white arrow. You can, of course, hit the P key, and that'll get you to your pen tool. However you want to go about it. White arrow with A or P with the pen tool. Let me do a Command Y for a sec. And I'm going to use this as, again, I'm using this more as just a general reference. I may get rid of a node. Okay, so try that with me. Go up here and let's get rid of that one. Don't need it. Okay, I'm also going to start manipulating this leaf to be a little different from the other one. Okay, so I'm going to go in, right? Maybe you can try this if you hold down the Option. I do have my pen tool on, mind you. So I've hit the P key. Now select Option. And then what I can do is maybe make a nice big swooping bend from there to there. Now hit Command, white arrow. And now what we're going to do is just manipulate some of these points. Option allows us to do that. And I'm just going to come in here, right? And make kind of, this is interesting. I'm not following the sketch, but you know what? Don't care. It's my creation. I do what I want, as mentioned. What I would like you to do, though, is make sure that you are extending past where this stem is, okay? And it'll make sense in a second, or maybe you're kind of seeing what needs to happen. I may follow along with what's here because it's kind of got a nice shape to it, right? And again, could I just go in and use the pen tool to draw this up? Yeah, of course you could, right? But it's nice to know that we can manipulate nodes and points, and this is good practice as well. Aside from that, again, I'm using this as my base, so it's already drawn. I'm just, yeah, we're manipulating what's there for our own need, right? Cool. So I got something like that. And I don't know, maybe I'll get, yeah, that's better. I got rid of that one, right? Oh, you know what? No, it needs some harder lines, doesn't it? I might go up and create kind of a spike here. Yeah, that needs to happen, right? Because otherwise the leaves don't look even very similar at all, do they? There we go. All right, we're getting there, right? Got a bit of a bend here. Actually, I think what we need to do is, you guys mess around with it. I know it's yeah, you know what I got to do is right here, I got to just bring it in like so. So it has kind of a spike coming there, right? Okay, cool. So that looks all good, right? And now that I'm seeing this, yeah, we got to add a node here. I know I got rid of a node and then added a node. And you guys are like, oh, make a decision, bro. So we'll go here and I'll just add a node and then we'll spike it with Option. Option. There we go. That's giving me a much better, yes, cool. Right, so that they look similar. And these are things we're gonna look at, right? It was too circular from the other one. It was nice that they're very different now, right? But you know, the other one that I did just had way too many circular nodes to it. And I might come back to this, and now that I have that one fixed, I think this is gonna work much better. So I may go with a smooth bump here. Okay, there we go. Wow, 2 leaves, right? Woo, all right. So like, wow, that was fun. Okay, so the leaves are drawn in, okay? Now, what I'm going to do is I did those first, okay, on purpose, because now what I want to do is I'm going to do the stem. Now, to do the stem, this is kind of interesting. I'm going to pretend, well, you'll notice I do have a line that's here, and you guys can try this. I may draw a line in there, and I may draw a line in here, okay? And I'm going to use, right? I'm going to use these lines as reference because we know that leaves have kind of two parts, right? Left and right. Well, they got tons of parts, but you know what I mean. This is going to add some dimension. I'm going to swap, or I'm going to change up my stem a little bit because of, you'll notice I didn't really follow the sketch here or my one that I gave you. You guys, if you're drawing it with the pen tool, awesome, good pen tool exercise. But if not, you're following along with me, just do your best and see if you can't find a point that this leaf would kind of have a furrow, right? Where's the furrow in this leaf? Obviously it starts from point A here and kind of goes in, right? And same deal. So that's kind of nice. That gives me a nice reference. And the reason I'm going to do this is I'm going to use this as my reference to manipulate this, right, to match. Meaning, okay, let's try this. Let's go in and start drawing the stem now. You ready? I'm going to do this in a few parts. I'm going to do the face, and then I'm going to do the darker as a separate piece, okay? So let's start here, though. Let's just get our main stem done up. And I will use the P if you want to click on the P or go to your pen tool, okay? I'm drawing counterclockwise, and I thought something felt wrong. So I just go back, and I'm going to do this in clockwise. You'll notice there's a few things here, and you guys can have fun with it. If you want to put more notches in it, go for it, okay? And then what I'm going to do is just something like that, and just finish off the face like so, okay? And then I'm going to go down, and this is where, right, again, if you want to have some creative freedom on it, go for it. Okay, I'm not sold on my that or so on, but this is where it gets interesting, because what I want to do is utilize the stem to create the illusion, as mentioned, of the leaf popping through, yeah, which is kind of a neat trick, right? So it's all about illusion with some of this stuff, because we can't obviously have it going, well, there's ways around it, but I'm just showing you the way that I typically like to do. Okay, and so what I'm going to now do, notice, is from here, I'm using this line as reference, knowing that this is where the bend of the leaf would basically be, right? So I'm using that as my reference, okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come up. We can always adjust this line later, right? But what I want to do is I'm going to go here, and notice what I'm going to do is create a big bend here, right? And now, even if I go here and get rid of this, notice how it's kind of emulating where this is going in, right? And I hope that makes sense. So as I'm drawing my vector, my stem is actually creating the bump in the leaf. You may say, well, Mitch, can you just like draw a separate piece? And then, you know, another way around it would be like, let me just draw in a bump like so, right? And then once the bump's drawn, you can send everything to back, but then bring this little piece to the front. Yes, you can do that, but it's not as clean, because now we're gonna have this little piece that's to the front, right? Does that make sense? Okay, you guys are like, yeah, just move on. All right, we're getting there. So we've got this leaf that's here, right? Cool. Now what I may do is I may actually use that leaf and bring it down slightly like that, okay? And then I'm gonna go here, okay? And go there, perfect. So now I've kind of created this, like the stem is there and the leaf, right? I've actually created a step down, you'll notice. But probably be good if I created that, connected it. Good job, Mitch. Okay, there we go, better. Okay, so once again, we're at this place. And what I wanna do is do exactly what I did here. I wanna kind of manipulate it to make it look like the bump in the leaf, right? So here we go. Let's try this. I'm gonna go in here, make sure what I did, sorry, is select on the path, right? Around, option, click and drag up. now what we can do is let's create this bend. Now notice mine is different, isn't it? Because I drew a little differently than the drawing, and that's totally fine. You guys can do whatever you want. And so what I'm gonna do is try, notice, I'm gonna use that furrow. There we go. And notice now I've got the leaf coming in, and now it's breaking like so, right? And then from there, that's where, right, I may go further in, and this is where what I would maybe do is get rid of a little bit. I have too much of this line here. It's throwing me off. You may want to get rid of some. So easiest way to get rid of, just add a node here, add it, command, click, delete. Nice. And then click on the artboard, right? And then that way it'll just open that up so I have some room to play with, right? Now what I'm going to do is go down here, right? And pretend as though that, right? I'm going to go here and that looks pretty good, right? Make it look like the leaf is kind of, right? Nice. And then this one is on top, of course, so I can just mess around with maybe the spine a bit, right? If you want to create a bigger piece coming off, sure, right? All right. So we in essence have a leaf, right? We have a leaf and we have the spine, but the spine or the stem is kind of built in such a way that it really will accentuate and allow the leaves to kind of come through. Even though they are to the back, it's giving the illusion that they are coming forward and going to the back. Yeah, sound good? Let's do a quick fill in. So if you want to select it, remember another thing that I like to do sometimes is go here, especially with real complex work. And I just do that, throw a gradient on everything. So I just select on all, right? Gradient, and there we go. Now it can just kind of make sense. And this is where you might, you know, command shift, hard bracket right, hard bracket left, you know, hard bracket left, hard bracket right, right? Maybe you drew things in not the proper order. So now we can just kind of know that, oopsie, I did that and made a mistake and did that. You guys get the idea. Anyway, quickly, let's go in. Brown. And we'll just use our swatch colors. If you don't have swatch colors, you can, of course, just try to utilize the color within, right? And what I did there, everyone, is if you hit the I tool, Command Y, select on anything there, neat, right? And notice how it will take on the color, right? There we go, spine, or why did I say spine? Why did I keep saying spine? Anyway, there we go. Command Y though, select, and done. Okay, cool. Let's try that again. Select on the gradient here, Command Y. Oh shit, sorry. Command Y, I said, not I. Hey, Command I, just so you know, is spell check, really important. And so Command Y, right? Command Y, make sure that you click the I tool or the eyedropper. So I, Command Y, oh, I'm sorry, Command select on the leaf. There we go. Now Command Y, select, right? So then we're just getting that. Of course, you could have just selected on that leaf since it was right there, but you guys get the idea. And then we can do this, right? I'm going to do a Shift X. Now the Shift X, you'll notice because I had the fill of gradient on, right? I want to do a Shift X. That now will give me the, oh my goodness, don't do this. No gradient strokes, holy heck. So I'm gonna change that and go with maybe a dark green. Hey, look at that, right? And so now I've got a thicker stroke here. You guys can select on the stroke if you'd like, right? However you want to select on them. If you want to hit the V key, Shift, select, so you get those two pieces, however you go about it, okay? And then we're going to go into my stroke, right? And notice appearances right here, which is amazing, right? And maybe we'll go a 2-point stroke maybe, but remember we looked at profiles quite a bit. So let's go in and do a profile. This is one of my favorite profiles. It's so nice. It's got like something like that, right? And it's just giving the indication of the leaf furrow, right? Maybe 2 points is a little much. Try it at 1. That's nice, right? So that was just with your profile, right? So select on those 2 strokes. We'll change it to green, right? You can even start with this general green, okay? And then what I did was I added black, see that? We did that quite a bit, yeah, hopefully. And that's a nice way to add your shadows. And then of course your lights, of course, you just take away black. And we'll get to that in a second by using our tints, right? And tints are great too. So kind of neat, right? Have a look at it, see if it makes sense, right? And in my case, actually, I feel like I went the wrong way with my stem right here, right? I almost feel like I'm just kind of do this. It wasn't working properly. So we're going to go here and then starts, right? And the stem, shoot, I think that is right. But the stem probably would be more like coming down, maybe like so. Ah, that's better, right? And then because it is a stem, and notice what I did here. Remember, you're going to live by a few different things, right? We're kind of masking it off here, right? So you, in fairness, have full control over how this leaf is going to look, but it's kind of a mind flip because we're actually going to use the stem as our mask. And you guys are like, oh my gosh, oh my God. So we'll go there, okay? And then what I may do is maybe I'll just round this. Ah, look at that, what a difference, right? So then I just rounded this stem portion out to give it some roundness since it is a pumpkin. And in fairness, maybe the stem goes that way because it is a bumpy gourd. Actually, doesn't that make so much more sense? Good job, Mitch. Yeah, sorry, that was kind of me not congratulating myself in any way. And then I do that in the first place. Yeah, silly goose. All right, moving on. So there we go. We got through the hard part, I think. Yes. But really this class, again, we use the bloat tool. Hopefully we did it fairly well. And we're still working away. We still have half an hour. If you guys need to peace out, that's okay too. No problem there. But I may go in and let's have some fun. Again, notice that it's nice that this guy is lying on top because that means you can make nice manipulations and it'll automatically take effect to the lower layer, right? Meaning preview anyway, or show it. All right, let's go here. Sorry, don't add node for no reason. There we go. Gourds are, I don't know, what color are gourds? Like a bright, ooh, that's ugly. That's a little too much. I kind of like that. It's almost a little too much though. Maybe we'll just, there we go. Okay, he's a bright gourd. Okay, cool. So we've got that leaf done, right? Now, the highlights and so on are my favorite part. I think if anyone saw the Discord there, we're chatting with Kim's awesome little stuffy thing, right? And the detail, this is like my favorite part. And this is the shadow and the highlight. I have a style. You guys will have a style. Maybe you have a style already. My type of style is this type of thing when I'm doing kind of cartoony art. I like to keep my shadow kind of as a solid piece here. Let me just bring that up to the proper layer. Sorry, there we go. Right, I like to do this type of thing with my vector because I find it gives really neat interests. Okay, and then our deep and our that, and then if we need to add in a highlight, you'll notice I would do the opposing. And for this, I'm not going to go in and do like offset path, right? And then, right, I don't want it to be, it's organic. I want it to be organic. So I'm not going to like be that accurate with it. I'm accurate because it's, you know, I'm accurate enough that it's a cartoon, but not that it has to be like bang on. Okay, you want to try something fun with me? Here, try this with me. Go ahead and let's just do a highlight, simple highlight. on one of the leaves. So first off, if you're going to do this type of thing, probably good that we match, right? We match the kind of feel and, you know, where these outlines, there we go. Something like that makes a little more sense. Okay. And then same thing here. So get your pen tool on and let's see if we can add a nice highlight. I'm going to start here and like the sun's coming, let's say from right to left. Okay. So sun's up here, coming down here. So anything on the left side will be shadow. Okay. And anything on the right side. And in fairness, yeah, maybe we can go up a little higher. Okay. So try this with me. I'm going to go up and do a line like so. Option, click. Let's get a cusp. Option, click, let go. And we're going to do something to kind of match the dark side. Okay. Dark side. And then we go there, option, click, right? We should get, hopefully we're getting really solid now, at least proficient, right? With the pen tool. It's not so foreign anymore now that we've had, right? Quite a hopefully some time, lots of time. So now what we can do is you'll notice, oopsie, shit, I keep going to the wrong layer. Remember, if you click on the body layer and start drawing everyone, it's going to start drawing on the body layer, right? Oopsie. So I have that and I accidentally clicked on the body layer, started drawing it. Now my highlight's actually on the body layer. So wrong. And notice it actually took on the body layer color as well, which is neat. Actually, look at that. It's kind of neat as well. A yellow highlight. That's not what I want though. I change it to green. Okay. So eyedropper, I change that to green. Try this with me. You ready? Command and Option. If you hold down Command and Option right now with me, let's open up our color palette. Okay. So you have your colors open. All right. Command Option. Hold down both of those keys with your highlight selected. Hover over top and grab one of these sliders. Doesn't matter which one, okay? Grab a slider. You ready? So Command and Option are held down. I'm gonna click on this slider. Now click, hold down, drag to the left, and watch what happens. Ooh. Instant tint. Isn't that neat? So what you can do for any of your colors, if you wanna get just an offset of that color, either dark, notice I can do a shade, or I can do a tint, back and forth, yeah? Kind of neat. Sorry, let me take a step back, there we go. Okay, so I'll go here, and you'll notice you can kind of play around, make it subtle, right? Something like that is kind of nice, right? It's not too intrusive. Even this is too much, right? Let's try that again. I'm gonna select on the dark tone, click eyedropper here, Command Option, and let's just a little bit. Ah, that's better. That's nice. Okay. Now look at the difference though. It's amazing what a simple, right? A simple highlight, look, it goes from that to that in like fairly quickly, right? Now, if I wanted to start on the detail in here, remember, click on the color, click on the one that you want, hit the P tool, and then start drawing. That'll take you to the proper layer, number one, and it'll also make it the proper color to match, right? And so then I can go in and I can do something like this really quick. Again, this is kind of just the way I like to draw my vector. I may do something like this since the stem is there and build in some of that stem as well, like that. Oh, that's nice, yeah? And then we can go here. And now, sorry, let's try this together. Command, white arrow, select on that highlight, okay? And now we can start drawing the highlight from here. Option, click, drag out, let go. And now I've got an instant highlight. And this one can be pretty, I don't want to go swoopy. Have a look at it. That might be too much, right? We'll play around with it and get it to a place we're happy, right? Again, match, I would match what it's connected to. So since I have that stem there, I'm finding I need to do some massaging here. There we go. Okay, good. Nice. Good. So something like that, really simple. But if we hide everything for a sec, it really pops now, right? It gives a really nice look and feel just with some simple. And this is like this is my favorite part of doing vector art, right? Because it just allows for so much depth, right? Don't get me wrong, of course you can do it like the masters, right? Michelangelo and so on. Yes, we're doing Gourds. Are you kidding me? You just compared your stuff to my, I'm kidding, it's a joke. Come on now. This is forever art. So we'll go in. That must be near the end here. So what else we got? We've got a lot to cover still, don't we? We got some eyes. We got a little another leaf up here. We've of course got the stem that's in here, right? So the stem for this, what I may suggest is start here, okay? So notice I have my smart guides on, so it, right? It allows me to tell when I'm at a point. And so I might just start my point there, coming off. And that way I know that it started right there, yeah? So I'm kind of do a faux, and I kind of like this guy here, right? And so pen tool, and maybe I'll go like this, so it's kind of looks like it's coming out at us, right? And give it, there we go, right? And then with this, what I'm gonna do is I want to break it, see this? I'm gonna break it so it's right there, see that? And this is kind of a bit of a challenge, but see if you can't, right? Have this, break it right there, yeah? And then of course, once we're happy with everything, we can go back in and notice now what I'm gonna do here, everyone, is I'm just going to encompass, right, this piece, like so. So I don't really care what this looks like. In essence, once we get into expanding it all, right, I can go in now, add black, Command Shift hard bracket left, right? And now we have a piece like that coming in. And this is the best part of vector, is that I can go in, and if I'm not happy with my perspective, which is the biggest thing I find for me, I can just play around with the perspective and go, yeah, you know what, it didn't work on my sketch, but you know, I have a lot more freedom to do it this way. There we go, and then we can hide it. And there we go, we've got a stem, right? So let's quickly go in. The rest of it really, everyone, is, well, we got leaves, of course. So notice how I just used the pen tool, quickly drew in the leaf, right? So that's nice and easy. So if you want to try that with me, pen tool, go here, do a little bump. If you want to have your leaf maybe come out like that. Remember, it is spiky, so maybe we'll do that. Now, this is a question. Do we keep this leaf on the leaves layer, or do we want to create this so that it's in behind the gourd? Yes? So what I mean, let's try this, Command Shift hard bracket left. And let's just make it a little darker. There we go. So Command Shift hard bracket left. So I just created a little simple shape like so. Now with that, do I want it to be there, or do I want it to be here? I guess it really depends on how your leaf's falling, right? Is your leaf all the way to the back of the pumpkin or the gourd, or is it kind of like still overlapping a little bit on the facing side? Yeah, and I guess that's our call. I'm not going to do this, but of course you could go in and you could, just like we did with the stem, I could go in and make a fake, make it look, see this? Make it look like the leaf is doing both, right? That it's actually cutting into a little bit on this side, but then it goes to the back. Does that make sense? Right? By utilizing a simple cutaway like this, it's really kind of giving you the illusion, just like we did with the stem, that it's, yes, it's a little bit on the front side of the gourd, but it's also then, right? It's also then, and actually you need more of a hard line, wouldn't you, like that, right? So that it, right, that line is then broken and it's coming. Oh, that's kind of nice, right? So it kind of does both, right? Anyway, you guys are like, dude, seriously? I don't know. It's just fun. It's another way to kind of think about art, because the vector art, because we really need to change our mindset almost when we do vector art, don't we? Okay, cool. So that's kind of nice. It does both. Okay. And then what I'm going to do, again, another simple leaf. Oops, sorry. Right, sorry, start over again. Click, click, drag, option, bring it in. Click, drag, let go, option, click, and done. Instant leaf, right? And then command shift, hard bracket left. Nice. So now we've got some differing leaves here, don't we? And this one, you know what? Maybe I'll leave it here because I'm finding, why not? Because I can do it. And then do we do a highlight up here? I don't know. The light would be hitting it, I think. That would be too much. Eyedropper, eye tool or the eye key, click. Let's try using our tint. Command, option, click, drag. Slight tint. Perfect. Isn't that nice, right? And then we can go in here. I'm going to select, command, click, P tool. And then I'll go in. Now this is kind of interesting. Again, consistency of where your elements or shadows are falling to. Notice again, I did more organic and kind of had some play with this, but I probably wouldn't have a highlight start there when this highlight's starting there, right? Makes sense? So I just kind of thought I'd call that out, okay? Try to keep them so that it looks like the lights, if it's gonna hit one leaf there, it's probably gonna hit the same, right? It's a different depth and perspective, but you guys got it. Okay. Oh my goodness, we're almost done. So how do we go about doing the rest of this? Well, you can try with the pen tool and you can draw around like I'm doing here. This might be quicker than trying the bloat tool. Personally, I do, but it's done for me, right? So if you want, you can do it just like I'm doing with the pen tool like so, okay? Now that that's filled in, got this real nasty bumpy, okay? I may put this down to the body main, or I may even put a new layer and call this out as body details. Yeah? Now with body details on, I will then have my body details, my body main, my shadow, and my stem. But in fairness, I think that's really all the layering that's gonna have to take place here. We got like 4 of our actual creation, right? And 4 to 5, again, typically is where I would say you may wanna be. Eye tool. Let's swap the color. See that? So eye tool, select on the stroke, eye tool, click. It's now a fill, isn't it? I don't want that. So let's swap it. You can use that arrow right there to swap, or you can, of course, Shift X. Shift X, Shift X, Shift. You got it. So we want it to be on our stroke, don't we? Let's see if I can add a touch of black. Ooh, that's nice. Okay, so now I'm adding just a touch of black, and notice how these bumps are really kind of taking shape. The last thing you'll notice that I did, I love my profile. So I went into my stroke and made it a profile like so. And now that really gives it a nice look. Okay, maybe give it one more point. See how that looks. Woohoo, that's fun, right? Then it goes from thick to thin, right? So I'm gonna go in, and now again, maybe I'll use my pen tool for this. You guys can try, as mentioned before. If you want to try the bloat, it'd be great. But quickly I can go in. This is great pen tool practice as well. I know you guys get enough of that now. That's good. That's really good. Right? Don't forget, if I'm going to go into here, you need to click on the artboard. So command, click on artboard anywhere, get out of that line, command, click, get out, then start drawing again. Cool, eh? Since you guys stayed to the end, I want to show this to you. You ready? This is awesome. Graphic styles. Again, this is kind of an add-on, since for anyone who made it to the end, I think it's fair to give you some little tips. Graphic styles are amazing. Okay, so remember I mentioned about the rounded corners way back when, and how like Illustrator's now remembering rounded corners. It will not remember things of this nature with a brush applied, right? You ready? Do this with me. And this works amazing for appearance. If you're working with the appearance palette and you have 3 strokes plus a gradient plus, right? If you grab this stroke and you drag it over to your graphic styles, it's not going to look like much. But what you in essence have done is I've now taken this profile with the proper stroke weight and the profile and the color, and then check this out. If I go here and I go click, shift, click, 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 right? So there we go, interior, click on this, amazing. It now will apply that stroke width on all of it. Really cool. So that being said, it may not work for everything. Some of these I may take down because of the nature of the line thickness, right? So I might do those in 1 point, like so, because they're a little too much. But now it's just a matter of changing the point size instead of having to go into profile, But there's so many benefits to that stroke, this graphic styles, if you want to play around with it. Yeah, so it's all good. I might make these even 1.5, I know, but it's coming at us, isn't it? Right? So I went thinner, thick, and then the outline will be the thickest. That'll give it like it's coming at you. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's amazing what we can do with illusion, right? So just through thickness of stroke, thick stroke, thin stroke, thinner stroke, yeah? And then we'll do the same thing on this side, right? So I'll command Y, hit the P tool, and I'll go in, and maybe I'll even connect this one. Make it a little easier on myself, because otherwise I'm gonna have to do it to 2 things. And option click drag. All right. Option click, option click, option click. All right. And then same deal, right? Command click, shift click, shift click. And then you can try that graphic style. Nice. Again, this is where I liked it for this one because that matches this. This one though is 1.5 is what I have it at. 1.5, just those 2. Nice. And now again, it gives it some dimension. Now, if we wanted to do this, notice if I go with the stroke fill, it's kind of interesting because it's going to give me the profile of that around the entire object, but it's not filled in, is it? So no worries though. What I can do is I can actually go here with it selected, click, drag, and notice how I can, did you see how that worked? I don't know if you knew you can do this. You can take the fill or the stroke. I think we did this in our basic shapes exercise, didn't we? Click on that stroke color, drag, and I can move it. And notice now I have both fill and stroke with the same color. Isn't that cool? Yeah. And then from there, I can even just lighten, oops, sorry, not lighten my stroke. I want to lighten my fill up, don't I? Lighten. There we go. Good. Now, do I like that after all said and done? No, I don't like my profile on it. So I'm gonna actually take the profile off. because I want a nice, there we go. I want a nice beefy stroke around the entire perimeter. That's nice. Okay, let's save, holy heck. What do we got here? 3 minutes left, everybody. Woo, doggy. So I'm hoping regardless, you're probably not doing gourds, monster gourds, right? Now the last details are fairly straightforward, right? We've got a circle and a circle. We haven't used our path or shape builder yet today. So Shift M, Option, done. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is get rid of my stroke. Oh, sorry. Remember, the Pathfinder won't allow you to do changes to your actual, that's going to be an update soon, right? And then we've got this little black, or of course, what we could have done, simpler, D, just get back to base, right? Then we can swap it, get rid of our stroke. There we go. Oh, cute eye, right? I'm not going to bother. I'm going to do the eyebrows separately. What I mean by that is, of course, I could do an eyebrow and flip it, but there's literally a little line. Okay, so I don't think that deserves. Not only that, you may want to put a little bit of interest and create different eyebrows, so they're not 100% the same. Right, and there we go. We're going to swap that, Shift X. Yeah, see if you can't go into stroke and maybe make this 0.5. Right, really tiny eyebrows. I don't know, that might be too thin. You might want to beef that up a little bit. Oh, 0.75. Oh no, you know what, 0.1, that works pretty good. Right, and then we've got this little guy, little frowny. Oh. Right, and then again, you can go there and then maybe make that black. So I use my style, my graphic style, right? And then maybe I'll make it 1 point instead. Hey, 2 minutes left, everybody. And if you're still working on getting the lines drawn in, no worries, right? Have fun with it. This is all just practice. I'm going to keep going. One thing I wanted to show you, these leaves, one of the nice touches you'll find is I can make a duplicate. So you can try this with me. Select, Shift, Select. Okay, so I have both of those selected, just the leaves. Option, click and drag down. Okay, so I made a duplicate. Let's bring those down like that. And I'm going to change that color to this dark green, okay? Now what also I wanna do is Command Shift hard bracket left. So send to back. Okay, so try that with me maybe one more time. So Option, or sorry, Command, click, Shift, click, okay? I have my white arrow on, it doesn't matter, okay? Command, Option, click and drag, same deal. Even with direct selection, I can make a duplicate, okay? Now my I, press I, let's make it dark green. Command, Shift, bracket left. Nice. So now we've got an instant shadow. And this is again where you can have some fun with it, with the command button. If I click on my command button, white arrow, or if you want to be sure that you're going to have the white arrow, hit the P key, then hit command. Now what we check it out. Now what we can do is we can really have some fun with how this shadow is going to interact with the light source. So notice now what I did was command, and then maybe this is closer to the pumpkin, and then it gets further away with this leaf. See that? Kind of nice, right? And then maybe the shadow is a hard kind of in there. And then we do the same thing over here. Maybe I bring that up. And this is amazing to add instant depth and that and really changes up the whole dimension of the look and feel. It's amazing what you can do with a shadow, right? I would go in and I think in one of them, what I did was I used the bloat tool again. And you can go in and, right, not with this bloat tool, it's way too big. Maybe I'll do 10 points. And even less than that. 5 points. Oh, there we go. Good, this is what I want. All right, and then we can go in and then you can, oh, it doesn't want to work. Hold on a sec. Oh, I don't know. What are you doing? Anyway, it's all good. I go in and then it doesn't want to work for me. There it is. Oh, it's because it's a curved line. Sorry. So yeah, the bloat tool will work, but when you're already based on a curved line like this, it doesn't work as well, you'll notice. Remember I said that about the circle? Anyway, so maybe I won't use the bloat tool. Probably should have done it with a straight line. Don't matter. It's all good. Don't use the bloat tool. What you can do though, of course, is go in and then I would just manipulate this, right? Put some bumps in it. Because the pumpkin or the gourd itself has a bunch of little bumps, right? So the shadow then takes another dimension on it. Oh my goodness, but don't worry about that. We're done. Sorry for taking 3 minutes longer than I needed. I didn't get to the little pumpkins here at the bottom, but pretty straightforward, just really to give it some, what's the word? Size perspective. These are full-grown pumpkins, but this is our oversized gourd. Monster gourd, of course.
Hey, Mitch.
Yes, Brenson.
I have a question. So we keep our assets within the red, but we do the background to the black as a circle?
You got it. So to confirm, great question. What I can do now, everybody, is you can now, once you're happy with this and you're good and you're like, yeah, I like it, you can go in and if you so choose, you can fill this color in. Right? Sorry, let me just bring fill stroke forward or fill forward. There we go. Now, if we fill it in, of course, you're going to find, oopsie, right? It's way up here. So what we can actually do is let's take a step back, right? I would create a copy of this shape, okay? And then what we can do, and you can try this with me, you ready? Do Option, click and drag on the layer. Did you see what's happening here? Sorry, let me take a step. Try that again with me. You ready? So select on the circle, the outer circle, okay? Select on it. Let me hide this for a sec. Go up here, unlock your die line if you've already locked it, okay? I wanna use this as my fill, this circle, okay? And I'm just gonna do a solid blue or whatever color you wanna do. But select on it, Option, okay? Holding the Option key, click on that red dot, drag down. Notice by dragging down with Option key, it's giving you a plus, and it's telling you you're creating an exact duplicate of that object. Amazing. Now, if I just hide it for a second, what you'll notice is I happen to have that on the shadow layer, right? I can then fill that in any color I want, bring back my layers. See? Now you've got one that you can fill in.
And then we just copy and paste it to the template, right?
You got it, pal.
Awesome, Possum. Thank you.
No problem. So yeah, that's the last step, everybody. What I wanted to show you. I know I'm going long here. Select, grab the whole piece, Command C, right? Go into our button layout, Command V, right? And then from here, we can just place that on top. Something like so. All right. So kind of an important step there, right? But that'll get us there. You'll notice too in the instructions, it calls out, I'm not going to do it, but it says to create layer 1, layer 2, layer 3, large button left and right, and then place it would be always a good idea. Sorry, I didn't get there, right? But this in fact would be, right, big button. And then when we get to it, right, you bring your small button over, right, small button. left, right. You guys get the idea. Okay, we place that in. And then same deal, small button right. Not the same object, of course, or button. All right. Sound good? And that's what you're going to submit. Of course, we'll get that in line. A nice tip for that too is your smart guides, everybody, right? So when you have that, ooh, better yet, maybe I'll do a video just for, yes, I'll do up a video to everyone for submission to help you out, because I think a 5-minute video on the submission, since we're running out of time, you want to go for lunch. What we can do though is I can take this whole piece and do a group on it. And then we can do an alignment to key object, right? So if I select here, shift, notice how I have that button and my main one done. I group this one, Command G. I then select on here, you ready? To key object. And then we click there, but Command click. Now, center, center, done. Good? I'll do up a quick video though to show you that so you don't have to watch the entire thing. Or maybe I'll just say anyone wants to get that done and watch that video. All right. Cool, everyone. Hope you had fun. That's our little Gourd tutorial. Next week, we'll come back and we'll work on the packaging, okay? Man, this class needs to be 5 hours. I know you guys are like, yeah, sure. So have a good one. Man. How do we know where to put shadows and highlights? That's a good call out, Kim. That would be dependent on where the sun hits. And so in your case with your text, because you have patches and fabric and stitches, that's a really cool call out. And yes, it's a challenge. I can maybe help you out with it, Kim, if you'd like. And we can, yes, absolutely, we can chat. Sounds good. All right. So bye-bye for now. You guys have an awesome one. Enjoy text and have fun making your buttons. Don't forget to, what's the word? Upload your creative type assignment, okay? One more class together, it's over. Woohoo! So enjoy, take care, have a good one. And yeah, Kim, let's chat on Discord maybe. Sound good? Cool. See ya, guys. Have a good one.
Mitch. Have a good one.
Thanks, Benson. You too, buddy.